wanted to share with you today is a little exercise. This year, I said to myself, okay, what is going to be my New Year's resolution? And I said sometimes I set them, sometimes I don't. But what am I really going to work on this year? Just one word. And I picked discipline. So I have a limiting belief that I'm not disciplined enough. So I might work really hard, but am I working on the right work? And a question that came up today was, why don't we do the stuff we want, like the difficult stuff that we know we need to do? Why do we avoid it? What's the purpose? Even though we know it's going to move us forward, why don't we do it? So, for example, I prefer to write content for my social media and research about teenagers and what's going to work with teens and families. And I like, the more humanities side of my business. What I don't love is looking at data and numbers and finances. So why don't I focus on that? It's something that I know is going to move me forward as an individual. Why don't I focus on it? Why don't I work on it? So it might not be about not being disciplined, but it's really, what is it costing me? So the question really becomes, what is it costing me? So if I'm looking at this from a point of view of a parent and looking at their teens, so what is it costing you to not make the tough decisions and focus on the things that you really need to focus on? So if it's difficult for you to set boundaries with your teenager, why are you avoiding it? What is the reason behind you just continuing to not have boundaries with them? It's a difficult thing for you to do. What is the reason? And then when you find the reason that you have this limiting belief, you can subjectively as well as financially determine what it's costing you. So if you're not setting boundaries with your teen and then they take the car and they, without your permission, and they wreck the car, it costs you financially a significant amount of money for that car. But it also costs you the trust in your relationship. So it's subjectively what it's costing you as well as monetarily what it's costing you. So if you have another issue, for example, sticking to your word with your teen. So you say you're going to do something and you don't. What does that cost you? That also costs your relationship with your teen. That definitely harms a relationship subjectively. That puts a rift between you and your teen. And then financially, well, you may go through, lots of different ways to try to win your teen back, whether it's buying them things or taking them places and trying to mend your relationship, but really not getting at the heart of what's going on. So what I also equate this to is sometimes I have parents that connect with me. They're very interested in what I do. They think it's amazing. They have teenagers. They want to work on it. But then do they really want to work on it? Are they committed to it? So it sounds good, but then they're not willing to put in the hard work, or they're willing to, but they don't follow through. So what is it that's getting in the way? Why? What is the reason that they connect with me and then disappear, and then appear again and then disappear? And it could be they use different things like, oh, it's my husband, my wife, it's my teenager doesn't want to do this, it's the money, it's we don't have any time, and on and on and on and on. But what is it, the reason why we don't put in the work and do the hard things? What is it costing us? So by not enrolling your teen in a coaching program, let's say at 12, then something happens to them at 14, then we're at 17, then we're at, by the time you know it, they're in college already, we're at 21. So look at all of those years of learning and growth and helping them to become the most empowered being that they can. Look at all those years that went by. So subjectively, what did it cost them? It cost them their confidence and their self-esteem. It cost them, being involved in, negative relationships, whether it be romantic relationships or finding peer groups that were not appropriate for them. So it costs subjectively, as well as the stress it causes on you and your family. And then additionally, I'm sure you spent money over those years on all different kinds of things. Whether, it be, like I said, it'd be buying them things, it'd be taking them places, joining teams and clubs and activities and this and that and the other thing. So I guess the question really is, are you looking for transformation? Are you looking for transformation for your teen? Are you looking for transformation for your family? And if that is the case, why not now?